Methodical. This mosaic of morphing shapes represents a common impulse in business, the constant urge to redesign and reinvent a brand's aesthetic for novelty. That urge is usually driven by a false premise. Teams stare at their own marketing materials every day. They get bored. But mistaking internal boredom for an external necessity to change leads to chaotic messaging. In e-commerce, familiarity is the single strongest driver of trust. Customers rely on recognition to feel secure, and constant change actively destroys the mental associations you work so hard to build. Predictable, unyielding repetition is what creates emotional safety. When your brand looks and sounds exactly as expected, customers are far more likely to trust you with their money. To stop the cycle of reinvention, we use this, a core brand anchor sheet. It is a simple document divided into 3 sections: visual style, tone, and messaging theme, designed to standardize your entire external presence. Step 1 is to lock in your visual identity. Choose exactly one primary hex color code and one definitive primary logo file. Next, determine your primary messaging theme and define your brand's tone using exactly 3 words. If you are professional, direct, and helpful, commit it to the document. Resist the temptation to add secondary palettes, alternative logos, or complex brand archetypes. These rules must be simple enough that your team can actually maintain them for years. By establishing a minimal, highly constrained set of rules, you prevent future brand drift. This anchor sheet sets the absolute baseline for your audience's subconscious recognition. Pull up your website homepage, primary social media profile, and a recent email newsletter and place them side by side. Scan across these properties and look for cracks. Notice how red circles highlight an outdated logo on social and a different font style in the email. Ask yourself a practical question. If a customer clicked directly from your email to your social profile, would they instantly recognize it as the exact same company? Businesses often vary their style depending on the platform, acting quirky on social media but highly corporate in emails. That inconsistency shatters the emotional familiarity you are trying to build. Any mismatch across your touchpoints creates subconscious friction. It signals instability and forces your brand to start over, constantly re-earning the customer's trust from scratch. We fix this through a mechanical purge. Copy your definitive hex code from the anchor sheet and paste it into your email platform's button settings. Then strip out all variations and lock the identical logo into the profile slots across every platform. Once the updates are live, toggle back and forth between your live browser tabs. Verify that the visual identity now remains completely stable, with no jarring shifts in color or layout. Visual standardization improves your marketing efficiency. When customers see an identity repeatedly, their brain recognizes it faster, meaning you have to do far less persuading to get a click. A perfectly aligned visual presence signals competence. The brand instantly feels established and inherently credible to the subconscious mind. With the visuals locked, we apply the exact same discipline to the written word. Notice how this highly casual, emoji-filled social media bio is deleted and replaced by a clear, structured value proposition. Go through your social media bios, your website hero text, and your email footers. Rewrite them systematically so they strictly reflect the messaging theme on your anchor sheet. Your tone and positioning must remain rigid for a long period of time. It takes repeated exposure over months or even years for an audience to form strong, automatic mental associations with your brand. Maintaining a unified voice guarantees that every platform is pulling in the same direction. Your positioning is reinforced, compounding trust with every sentence a customer reads. To prevent the team from reverting to old habits, you have to cement this alignment internally. Look at this internal chat. The anchor sheet is pinned to the top of the channel as the permanent standard. Leadership must declare that the hex codes, logos, and tone definitions on that sheet are strict, unchangeable rules for all future campaigns. This constraint actually helps teams work faster. When the foundational identity is already decided, you spend less time arguing over colors and more time focusing on the campaign offer itself. A stable internal identity serves as your firewall against the boredom trap. It keeps the team disciplined so the brand stays recognizable. This synchronized carousel shows the result of the completed workflow. The website, social media, and email layouts now share matching colors, identical logos, and a perfectly aligned structural layout. Now comes the final and often hardest step. Once your brand presence is perfectly aligned, you must resist the urge to ever change it. Recognizable brands succeed because they compound trust gradually. They rely on unyielding repetition over a long period of time. When you refuse to constantly reintroduce yourself, you stop wasting energy proving who you are. Instead, every future email, social post, and ad acts as a direct deposit into your audience's existing credibility.